Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Adi, and today we have our first team report from the first Regulation C regional from Fort Wayne Regionals, and I am joined by a top player. Nick, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It was a fun weekend.
And so you are, of course, a staple not only on this channel but also on Tub Takes. But for those who don't know you, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I've been playing VGC since 2015. Played on Smogon for 5 years before then. Been in the yeah, just played the game a ton. Had my best season in 2017 where I finished first in North American Championship points. I've won two regionals, cut two internets, and currently I'm on a three regional in a row top cut streak, which is like still put to shame by what Justin Tang's doing, but it's pretty good for myself. For like uh, Orlando, Knoxville, and Fort Wayne are three regionals in a row, and I got all of them. So yeah, feeling
Yeah.
pretty good.
And of course, you mentioned that you came from a singles background, so it should surprise absolutely no one that you are the first person to, as far as I know, ever cut a VGC regional with Stealth Rocks. So,
Yeah. Uh,
talk to me about the creation of this team and how you approached this regional and leading up to it.
sure. So uh, I like just when playing the ladder. I can't claim to have come up with it originally, but someone else on the ladder, don't remember who, was using Stealth Rock Tinglu and Yondozo. Um, uh, like a coaching like student of mine, Tech Cruz, um, saw like had the like really spit off uh, a solo Dondozo that he wanted to team build around, and so in our session, I put the Tinglu next to it because I'd seen it before and like once or twice, and it looked cool, and there's a lot of synergy, and after that, like um, I just kind of slapped some offensive mons on the team that I thought could capitalize on just a bunch of chip being applied, and they fit the team pretty well. The original version was the Flutter and Goldengo you see. It was a Terra Normal Dragonite, Still Choice Band, and Jianbao. That version of the team had some matchup issues. It was really weak to Dondozo. Glamora was a problem. Um, there were some other issues with it, but um, over the next week, me, Tech Cruz, and Carson Confer uh, like just iterated on the team a lot, and uh, eventually we figured out we took the Dragonite and Qianbao off and messed with the slots a lot, and eventually a different Dragonite got added back on, and it solved like a lot of the matchup issues that we had with the team. And Bundle is there mostly to tech Dozo, and yeah, the team was pretty much created like that. It was pretty much just in a 1 hour session, and then a week of iterating after the core was made.
Yeah. Um, and so, maybe the best possible advertisement of your coaching. But yeah, so that's a great explanation of how the team was built. Do you want to talk about the individual Pokemon and why they are trained the way they are?
Sure. So the basic game plan of the team is you lead the Tinglu and the Dondozo. You click Stealth Rock, you click Yawn, and you force the other player to just keep switching out, or they'll fall asleep to Yawn. If they just decide to fall asleep, you have enough damage to kill them while they're sleeping and snowball a game off of it. So they're kind of just stuck in a no-win position of they have to keep switching, but they're taking Stealth Rock chip, and Tinglu keeps chipping them down. And eventually, you get to bring in Booster, Icy Wind Flutter, along with or Goldengo, and just outspeed everything. Um, some things that that combo might be weak to usually are Tailwind, opposing Booster Energy. Booster energies kind of get sussed out just by the yawn cycling. You kind of just force everything in before um, it's ready to be in, and then you force it back out with yawn, and just you can consume their booster energies before it's time for them. And as for Tailwind, Tailwind just kind of it's in a weaker spot because hard offense isn't as potent as it has been in past formats, and Talonflame specifically, it just gets like out. It gets like OHKO'd by liquidation, and Talon can't burn Dozo, so it's just really tough to bring Talon into the Dozo mode. Um, and yeah, it's like Goldengo provides Spore counterplay. It can just come in and uh, like it functions as a hit and runner mainly. You try to just get it in, drop and make it rain, and get it out after you've taken your kill, and then reposition it later. Let's see. The Dragonite, I mentioned it was a late edition. We were basically just looking for flying coverage for a few reasons, but um, like from a higher level view, just the format doesn't have a lot of either respect for flying moves or ways to respond to flying moves. It's probably the former, but Terraflying Terrablast coming off of like with the Choice Band and Dragonite just deals a lot of damage and um, can really capitalize on just speed control and some chip to ensure it gets KOs. We went Jolly and Timid on the Dragonite and Goldengo because Icy Wind Flutter is really the linchpin of like the mid to late game for our team. It just sets up the Bruisers, the Dragonite and Goldengo, really nicely. They get to outspeed everything and just take OHKOs. Um, aside from that, it's just like it's got the stab moves because it wants to deal damage, and the bulk allows it to take an ice spinner from Chi and Pao, along with just generally being very bulky. Fairy Terra on it is just because sometimes you do need to reach for damage, and so it allows you to, yeah, just Moonblast. Like for example, it allows you to kill Iron Bundle with a Moonblast, which isn't a terribly high bar if you're used to like Specs Flutter or Life Orb or just like fully specially invested. But you do lose a little bit of power by only having 4 EVs, and so sometimes you just need to be able to grab a kill. Um, let's see. The Iron Bundle, I mentioned that it was added late in the process. Um, we decided that because we already had Flutter as the Icy Wind support, it did not need Icy Wind, and Encore was originally added just for Dondozo, and Hydro Pump and Freeze Dry, just the big damage options. Uh, in tournament, Encore actually ended up being really good outside of just Dozo. You can often, just with your offensive pressure, force your opponent to make plays and set up locks if they like protect or. I got a nice position one game where I was able to encore Chi and Pao into Ice Spinner against my Dozo and my bundle, and just it was stuck doing negligible damage, and I was able to double the other slot. And um, I think I actually got to like spam yawn during that game. While the Chien Pao was also stuck on the board clicking Ice Spinner, and just their position was locked up because of Encore and Yawn. And like if they ever just let something go to sleep, the game ended because of like offensive pressure again. Um, and so yeah, basically it's just um, a really slow mode. I guess I should mention that like Stealth Rock breaks focus ashes, it breaks multi scale. It gets really valuable chip on Arcanine, who is not the biggest threat to the team, I guess, but it's Spectacle Dingo really likes it when Arcanine takes 25 or 50 from Stealth Rocks. The uninvested Flutter Mane, it can eat a Flare Blitz, but you aren't dealing that much damage back. So you do kind of want to just accumulate extra chip, and so Stealth Rock helps there. Um, it's, uh, I guess I'll go into the Dozo and Tinglu sets. Stomping Tantrums, just your stab move, and Heavy Slims, they're for Fluttermane because Fluttermane is on like it was on 75% of day two teams, and honestly, you really need a good reason to leave home without your Fluttermane in this format. It's so good. So Dozo, same point, Heavy Slam, just Fluttermane counterplay. You got to hit it, and it's gonna run you over if you don't have ways to deal with it. Um, Liquidation over Wave Crash was a change that I made early in the process. It just the original set that we were working from was Wave Crash, Body Pression, Protect, with a very similar EV spread, and Wavecraft just felt bad to click. Um, it The point of the mon is to just be really fat and hard to remove, and dealing damage to yourself isn't. It's counterproductive. So liquidation just is the stab move of choice for sure. And like waterfall is just weaker, and uh, you don't ever get to really flinch things. So Terragrass obviously for Moongus. Uh, you sometimes just need to sit there and yawn in front of it. Uh, Terragrassing like on a in front of a Moongus is usually punished by Arcanine. Sometimes it's punished by like Baxcalibur, and rarely some other ways to grass mons. But Dozo's bulky enough that he can still pretty comfortably take a Flare Blitz. It can't take two without a couple turns of leftovers, but you can kind of shrug it off if you're like getting a liquidation back into the Arcanine and it's worth it. Like um, Lumberry Tinglu was quite good. It just allows you to set up Stealth Rock in front of Spore or Will-O-Wisp, or uh, like get a damage trade off if you need to. The original version of the team had a really cool flowchart against Lilycool, where uh, we were Terraflying Goldingo and Earthquake on Tinglu, with like enough bulk to eat a Terrifier Eruption, and so you could just make it rain Earthquake to pick up the Lilligant, and it dealt like 70% of the Torkoal. Um, but we decided Protect was too necessary on Tinglu, and so um, and we just decided to give up that cool line and cut the special bulk out of Goldingo instead. But um, yeah, it's pretty much the whole team. I guess Dozo spread is just the next lefty's HP point, a bonus point attack, and max Spadef, the 4/4s. Jolly Dragonite. I guess yeah, I'll talk about Jolly Dragonite and Goldengo. Even when they weren't getting pulled faster by Icy Wind, they were just very very good. Having things at that speed tier. I Until Justin Tang in top eight, my Dragonite and Goldengo both outsped every Arcanine they saw at the tournament, and that was very just powerful in the matchup. Being able to get a Terra Blast off, and I think I didn't respect it enough against Justin. How much that mattered for the matchup, but it happens. Um, Otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much the team.
Yeah. That's a fantastic overview of how you built the team and the sets. Do you want to talk through? You alluded to this a little bit, but do you want to talk through how to actually play the team? Because I feel like this is not an intuitive team for people to use.
Yeah, like my round one or two opponent, they mentioned that they looked at the sheet and could not figure out what was going on, but after playing against it, they just like could see what I was going for. But yeah, basically, um, you can definitely mix and match various modes, and like at a high level, you're supposed to not just autopilot it, but the autopilot mode is very good, and you still go with it a lot. The autopilot mode is Tingdozo, get up rocks, start spamming on, and just destabilize your opponent's board, and just play like a kind of slow, grindy game that when the moment is right, you flip a switch, you switch to your offense guys, and um, they just kind of go crazy because the opposing because they're faster. The opposing team has been chipped down, and they just are free to do that. I would say that most often you're tearing one of the Tinglu or the Dondozo, um, just for uh, defensive pressure, I guess, and to get the lock set up. Because it pretty much is a lock that you're trying to get where you just are continually yawning your opponent, and they're not allowed to like go to sleep because then you'll just be able to win damage trades way too hard, and so um, ensuring that you can get to that point is most of like uh, the trick of playing the team. Um, and recognizing when a matchup will not allow you to do that is like definitely important for playing the team. And so things like Iron Hands, that guy can just kind of uh, sometimes uh, like punch through Tinglu and Dozone, so you have to just tempo through it with damage. Um, what are some other issues? Like I think the team ended up being a little bit weaker to like Arc Shroom stuff than I wanted it to be. I had an okay record against it in the tournament, but I thought it was going to be better, and it just uh, kind of was weaker than I thought it would be in that matchup. So um, it's just, like those types of matchups, you can often get a lot of value out of just clicking outrage. Outrage is another move that we haven't seen much in VGC. Definitely have seen it this gen, but starting in Series 3, despite the fact that the best mon in the meta is a fairy type, Outrage just has a lot of um, opportunity to be clicked. And it's 120 base power stab. It targets a random opponent, but there are a lot of situations where you just are fine with hitting either opponent. And so um, it is the best thing that it does is it's just good damage output out of Dragonite without having to Terra. And that is, I mean, that's like its use on Terra Normal Dragonite as well. But it's just a wall breaking move, and uh, it's not an every game click, but I put it on expecting it to just be good into like Wochi and Tinglu type of positions, and it ended up being a pretty good button to click in a lot more positions than I had anticipated. Um, the rest of the team, it's just damage dealers, and you basically pick the one that lines up well into your opponent's team or the mode that they're going to bring, or um, just like whatever you expect them to do, basically. Um,
Hmm.
and uh, yeah, you basically just sweep of the back guys. They often have a good position, and um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that makes sense. If moving forward, having now played, 14, 16 sets with the team, how many ever sets you played, would you make any changes to it?
Um, The team was good for me at the tournament. Am not too sure how the team is going to hold up moving forward. I think that the game plan of set up rocks and force your opponent to pivot around is still going to be viable. I think that it's not the it it might not be the it's probably okay. It's probably not going to be the best way to play, but like I'm not sure how much it's going to fall off. I guess um, I like full disclosure. I am building other things for UIC. I don't think this is a bad choice to bring to that tournament. Um, just I will. I'm exploring other things. It's a pretty safe fallback plan. Like I can probably get points with it. And the team like um Carson and Ted Cruz both went 6-3, so they were pretty close to making day two. I think matchups generally were favorable for me at the tournament, and so I think it's like okay for UIC. Um, I think that it's just as the meta develops, teams generally get stronger, and the team was. Uh, I felt that it would just be good for an early meta regional, and like Dondozo is really good into Qianpao stuff. Um, and just it's very very physically bulky and hard to remove, and it can live hits and then hit back, and that's all you have to do sometimes.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you mentioned you thought you had some favorable matchups along the way. Tell me about your tournament run and some notable matches that you played.
Sure. My first couple rounds were people who uh, couldn't really figure out what I was doing and how to deal with it, and so the team kind of just rolled with its like vanilla mode. Rounds 3 through 5 were all Chi and Pao comps that were varying degrees of weak to Dondozo, and it just kind of rolled. And like the offensive guys were able to position later on in the game, and um, I guess I should mention that the Chi and Pao Dragonite was a pairing that I wanted to like very aggressively target with this team. With a multi-skill Jolly Dragonite, two really heavy physical walls that are tough to remove, and then three ghosts. Two that start out as ghosts and one that can tear into it, and all of them deal heavy damage to Team's Might. So, yeah, hitting three Chien Pao comps in a row was pretty cool for me. Round 6, I I played Alberto on stream, and I locked in a little bit. Round 7, I played against Wolf, and I had a really good matchup against his team. And he like yeah, just didn't have much that he could do. Mostly the uh, just like yeah, powering through my Tinglu and Dozo was hard for him. So like it happens. Round 8, I played against uh, Thomas McCready, uh, who was using Lily Cole. He made a really cool update to the team, and uh, it was a good set. Uh, I won game 1. I don't remember precisely how that one went. Game 2, I called that he was going to lead Qianpao Dragonite, um, but I incorrectly, and he did lead it, and then I ended up losing because I hadn't fully grasped that uh, he had Lumberry on Dragonite and how that influenced the lines, and so he got to Tailwind protect on. I think I doubled up Chi and Bao turn 1, and it was tough from there. Um, Game 3, um, he made he just made a baller play of he led Chien Pao Great Tusk, and clicked Earthquake Ice Spinner, um, as I and like dealt a lot of damage, but didn't take a KO on either of my Dozo or my Tinglu. And I took 2 kills, and then he brought out Dragonite Fluttermane, and was able to Dazzling Gleam Tailwind, and take 2 knockouts. And then we were 2v2, and the mons that I had in back didn't adequately respond to what he had. And so it was a cool game plan that I kind of walked into. Oh no, I had Flutter Bundle in back, and so it was a 50-50 on. He had teared his Fluttermane, and so it was a 50-50 on whether he protected his Dragonite. Um, my line was to Icy Wind Encore his Dragonite into Tailwind, and if I got to do that, then I would have been able to Icy Wind Hydro Pump his Flutter, and kill it. And then Dragonite locked into Tailwind doesn't win, but he doubled my Fluttermane as I protected Bundle, and then I hit the triple protect to stall out Tailwind successfully, which was really funny. But I didn't hit the freeze on his Fluttermane. But that was a good set. Um, round 9, I beat some Palafin comp. Uh, let's see. Round 10, I beat Z, who was on Fat Stuffs, and I think I dodged a couple of Stone Edges from her. I don't remember what head Stone Edge.
Tinglu.
Her Tinglu. Yes. Yes, that is correct. And those helped. Round 11, I lost to um, another player in cut. Uh, it was Nathaniel Settler. Uh, uh, just the Chiyu was rough to deal with. Um, I don't. My spread damage doesn't line up well into it, and so it hid behind a Mungus, and just was tough to remove, and got to deal too much damage. That's basically I remember that going down, and he also, um, I mean, he played Paul, so like no shame. Round 13, I played against. Oh yeah, round 12 was Paul. Against Paul, he had trouble dealing with my Goldengo and my Dragonite, and I was able to like effectively set up end games with Dozo and deal too much damage in the mid game with Tinglet or with my Goldengo, and just it was rough for him to deal with. Um, and it was a pretty clean 2-0. I remember one funny play where he tricked my or I tricked his Tinglu with my Goldengo as it was asleep, and it got a first turn wake, and he just ripped the Choice Specs Fissure. He was pretty far behind, and I had already revealed a Dragonite in back, but it was probably his best chance to win the game is to like get a first turn wake, and I think he needed like 2 fissures to take a lead in the game, but like I respected it. It was a gamer line, and it was probably correct. So, um, uh, but yeah, this was a good matchup for me, and like it, the fact that this was a good matchup and the Tang matchup felt bad just like shows, I guess. There's probably a bunch of things you could take away from that, but like it's just the little choices on these balanced teams make a world of difference, and um, just like the main things that I struggled with on Tang's team were the fast Arcanine, the we can get that later, but yeah, round 13 was against the 10th seed Jesse Romulo, where he had the baller line of In game two and game three, he Terranormaled his Dragonite and he collected Giga Impact on turn one, with the hope of getting taking a kill. Or I think it was only two out of the three games of the set. But I do remember him saying that he crit a Giga Impact turn one, and he was just like, "Ah, no, it didn't matter." And like respect, it it very much did not matter. So, yeah, it deals illegal damage. Um, but yeah, I got a freeze dry freeze on him in game two, which was very clutch. So, uh, I guess we just take those. He played well and uh, like had a good tour, I guess. Um, Round 14, I played against Luca, who probably had the like most powerful team of the tournament. He played it very well. Game one, he uh, he like led Arkstrom, I think, no, he led Arc Palafin probably. Switched Palafin into King Gambit as I yawned the King Gambit, and he howled. And then turn two, he like side wisped his King Gambit and set up a Swords Dance. I was like, all right, you get to do that, and it was like just very powerful. And then he just clicked Toe Cleave like 7 or 8 times until the game ended. Um, in game two, I tried to force some offensive lines through, but they just didn't line up well, and so I kind of got my butt kicked. Um, Top eight, I it was on stream. Uh, I managed to win game one with just showing him what Dondozo did, and my memory's not perfect on this, but basically just games two and three were close, like grindy mid-rangey games where he got some more plays right than I did, and I mean that was game one as well. So just a close set, much like the one at Knoxville. Um, and he probably played better. I haven't rewatched it yet, so that's just my recollection. Um,
Yeah.
uh,
I
yeah,
know there was a and it was a really close set the entire way through. I think you won game one on like a couple hit points.
yeah.
Um, and game
Um,
three felt like it was kind of decided by a burn. I know you told me
uh,
afterwards it didn't matter, but like
yeah,
that seemed
no,
like it decided the
the
game to me.
Flare burn onto the Dragonite, it was like annoying, but I felt like my position was already pretty bad in that game. I think it just sped up the eventual like result. Um, like the chip damage was relevant, I think, but um, I and like the damage cut was. I think it came down to sleep turns actually. Um, Perhaps like if the burn didn't hit and sleep turns had gone my way, like I think he got some. I think my Dozo was just asleep for a lot of that game, and like it happens, but like it is what it is. Um,
Yeah, but it was a really fun set to watch. A very very close
mhm.
set. Really recommend that you go and watch it. And then also, I think your set versus Alberto is also on stream, so you have a couple chances to see this really really cool team in action. Of course, I definitely recommend you try it out, and we'll have the rentals code on screen, and the pace will be in the description below if you want to try it. Along with Nick's coaching, if you want to try to convince him to use your team at the next regional. Um,
If it's good,
so
if it's good, I'll run it.
um, yeah,
If it's
so
not,
I
I'll help
guess
you build it still.
that's the
But yeah,
important thing. Uh, but yeah, I guess those are all the questions that I had. Did you have any final words or shout outs that you wanted to give?
um, the team was really cool and a lot of fun to play, and um, it, yeah, just it was a really fun team. Uh, I'm excited to play UIC in a couple weeks. Uh, the format is pretty cool. Um, I like Series 3 a lot, and it's just I'm looking forward to UIC. Yeah. Shout outs to Carson and to Cruz first for um, like Carson play tested the team a bunch on ladder and helped figure out that the Qianpao Dragonite original slots needed to change, and then just did a ton of playtesting to figure out what they should be. And I think the Dragonite was his idea. Um, the bundle might have been as well. I think the bundle was too. So like yeah, it was just a group effort to build the team, and uh, like we all got points from the tournament, and yeah, so just a it was a good group to work with. Um, so shout outs to those guys primarily. Shout outs to Tub Nation. Love you guys. Um, and uh, uh, yeah, shout outs to my parents because they're great. But uh, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Again, I recommend that you try this team out because it is super, super cool. I don't think you'll ever get to see. I don't know if there's ever going to be a format in VGC where you get to use Stealth Rocks ever again. So definitely take advantage of it while you have the chance. And thank you again, Nick, for coming on the channel, and congratulations on the really incredible performance. Third straight regional cup. That is absolutely insane. Um, and yeah, thank you all for watching. And until next time, I will see you all later.
Peace.